12:22. It says, Then was brought unto him one possessed with the devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him. You cannot do this without healing, inner healing. You can't just have inner healing and don't have deliverance. And so the Bible says he healed him insomuch that the blind and the dumb both spake and saw. Now that's some deliverance, amen? It says that all the people were amazed and said, Is not this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow, now they're going to undermine Jesus and call him this fellow. This fellow does not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Right? And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you. And Jesus cast a demon out of a man who was both blind and deaf. Isn't that a sad condition?
Yes.
Those that witnessed this were full of admiration. And it says they exclaimed, Is not this the son of David? And Jesus answered the accusation in which they was accusing him of. They was accusing him of blasphemy because he was doing that. And it was to be expected that the Pharisees would be informed about what had happened, and their reaction was predictable because they were jealous of the Lord. They declared to the people that Jesus had done this miracle by the power of Satan. And by this accusation, they brought upon themselves the judgment of God.
Wow.
Yeah, you can bring the judgment of God upon you when you start talking about, these people are not doing, there's no such thing, they're doing this and this stuff they're doing in deliverance is of the devil. When you start doing that, you bring the judgment of God upon yourself. Jesus answered the accusation. And in the process, he showed how absurd it was. He was trying to tell them, if I was really of the devil can't cast out the devil.
That's right.
So he was just letting them know, I am Jesus. I'm the one who come to deliver and save. I don't put people in bondage. I deliver people out of their bondages. And sometimes people will think because you carry out the gospel of Jesus Christ when it says you can lay hands on the sick and see them recover and you shall cast out devils, then there are a lot of times they're thinking that you are doing some kind of cult thing. They'll start saying that you are doing a cult, and they'll start saying she's a witch. I was accused of being a witch. I was like, you in Jesus' name, that's what I said. So you'll get, you'll be accused of blasphemy. And I think a lot of times people are afraid in the body of Christ to carry out what God has told them to do. You can, we're good upon healing the sick. We're okay with that. We'll go out and put some oil, all that coke with that oil. A whole bottle of olive oil on people. You carry it around in your purse just to prove people that you got some oil in your pocket and you want to anoint somebody. We'll do that all day long for people who need healing in their bodies. But when are you going to get to the point where you cast out devils and, oh my God, don't talk about raising the dead. Okay? It's not, the gospel is not given to us in part, it is given to us in fullness.
That's right.
And so if you're saying that you're going to go out and lay hands on the sick, why can't you cast out the devils?
Right.
Remember the disciples said, man, God, we've been over there trying to cast out devils, and they didn't obey me like they obeyed you.
That's right.
You understand? I don't never want it to be where God tell me the devils did, I go out there and say, well, God, I went over to cast out devils, they didn't obey me like they obeyed you. If you do that, that means you don't know your authority, the authority that you have in God. And so it takes faith, and it takes the authority, knowing that you have the authority of God inside of you to cast out devils.
That's right.
Somebody say, I'm binding fear today. In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Okay. So I just want you to know that they accused him of that, and sometimes you may be accused of being something that you're really not because you're willing to do what the Bible tells you that you're supposed to do. All right.
Amen. That's the truth.
All right. I want to make that clear before we even get started.
Yes.
All right. All right. So now let's get on into the meat of what we have going on here today. All right. Let's pull up slide 1, please. After Jesus' resurrection, he spoke and said, go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And it says, he who believes and is baptized shall be saved. But he who does not believe will be condemned. And these signs shall follow the apostle, the pastor, the teacher. It says, and these signs shall follow those who believe. In my name, now you can't do it under your name, and you can't do it under Pastor Scott their name, and you can't do it under the Word of Life Ministry name.
That's right.
Or whatever the name. You can't do it under your name. You have to do it up under the name of Jesus. And in my name you shall cast out demons. Mm-hmm. And they will speak with new tongues, because you're going to need the tongues. Mm-hmm. After you cast out demons, you're going to need the Holy Ghost. It says that they will take up serpents. I'm not going to touch that. And if they drink anything deadly, I'm not going to touch that either, it will be by no means hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick and they will recover. Not maybe, maybe a little bit. It said they will recover. So then after the Lord had spoken to the disciples, he received them to heaven. He sat down at the right hand of the Father. They went out and preached everywhere. And the Lord was working with them. And he was confirming the word through the accompanying signs. So God wants, when you go out and do this ministry of bringing deliverance and healing to people, what is happening is that the Lord is confirming his word. Yes. Okay? Amen. That's what he's doing. He's confirming. He says, I'm going to confirm my word with accompanying with signs. Okay? And so now you're looking at the difference between, we're going to talk about the difference between inner healing and deliverance. Inner healing is the what? The closing of doors that have been opened in our lives. Mm-hmm. So like Dr. Scott was saying, there are some doors that you have to close in order for you to get your inner healing. In order for you to get healed from those different emotions and things that you're dealing with. Now deliverance is the casting away of the unclean spirits that have access to our lives, be it physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, because of those doors. Okay? So deliverance comes in as a result of inner healing needing to take place. Once you open up the door to get wounded in your spirit, and you hold on to those things, and it gets to the point where it controls your life, then you need to come in for deliverance. That's when deliverance come in on the scene. Which we get to the part, we go through the inner healing part, but we stop right there. Because we were talking about some things, me and Deacon Fudge on the way here, and we was talking about how some people, I remember this picture that somebody had put up, and it was this little boy, he was carrying his little demon on a leash with him. And he was walking in the little demon, it was like his pet. And so what we do is, we have these demons inside of us, and we treat them like they're our pets. Like they're our best friends, because we've had them so long that we become familiar with them. And when somebody comes messing with it and start coming in there and start talking about it, then we be like, no, stop, leave my demon alone. This is my demon. And the devil is telling you at the same time, no, don't come in here. This is my property. Yeah. We've been together for so long. Don't come in here irritating me and messing with me. Because this is my property. And so the devil you can allow demons to come into your life when you have these doors open up, when you have not closed the doors on inner healing. You have not come in and got inner healing. You've not come in and let the Lord heal you with these wounds. And you not let the Lord come in and heal you from all this emotional baggage that you have. When you don't do that, then the enemy has an opportunity to, because of that door being open, he has an opportunity to allow his demons, his fallen angels, to come in and take residence in your body and have complete control over your life. Okay? So now demons are evil spirits, and they are devils. And they work against the purpose of God on this earth. And then what they do is they enslave people. They put you under a slave situation. Okay? So then enslave human beings and come in and they attack them at different levels of manipulation, different levels of obsession, different levels of oppression. You listen, if you are a Christian, Christians cannot be possessed. That's right. Amen. Make that clear. They cannot be possessed, but they can be oppressed. That's right. And so what the devil does is he comes through where your wounds have been taking place and open up, and he comes in and he oppresses you with it. He presses you down. He makes you feel like you're dirt. You're not anybody. You'll never be anybody. He puts all these things in your life. And then what happens is it opens up the door for the devil to come in and put pressure on you and hold you down and put you as a slave.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So demons hate human beings. Demons hate, this is so funny. Demons hate human beings, but that's who they like to embody. They can only, you know what demons can only embody humans and animals. They can only embody, they gotta have something to be inside of. If they didn't have to be, if they weren't inside of it, why would Jesus have to cast something out? So when you cast something out, that means something is what? In you.
That's right.
So Jesus said, cast out devils. So that means something is in you. Am I right?
You're right.
So demons hate human beings, and they only carry out the dictations and the will of Satan. That's what they do. He is the kingdom of darkness. There's a war that's going on. There's a war between the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light. So when you get the warring against things in your flesh and stuff, that is the kingdom of darkness trying to say, hey, don't come over here, messing with me. They'll tell you, don't bother with me. I've had so many demons tell me, what you doing here?
That's
Who
right.
told you to come over here?
That's
I didn't invite you. And I said, well, I invited myself,
That's
devil.
right. Amen. Yes, ma'am.
I invited myself. That's who I invited myself over here. And so the word says that the thief does not come except to what? Steal, kill, and to destroy. Now, demons' works are stealing, killing, and destroying. That is not the works of God. So if anything is going on in your life that's caused you to be, that's being stolen from you, anything that's happening in your life that's causing things to be killed in your life, anything that's happening in your life that's destroying your life, that is not God. That is a demonic force.
Amen.
And that is the purpose of demons. They're here to kill, steal, and to destroy. They're here to advance the kingdom of darkness.
That's right.
Now, how do demons manipulate people? Okay? How do they manipulate people? How do they oppress people? What do we mean by demonic obsession? And what does it mean to be possessed by an evil spirit? What does it mean to steal, kill, and destroy? The works of demons in attacking, manipulating, oppressing, obsessing, and possessing people are aimed at stealing from them. It is aimed at killing you. It is aimed at destroying you. That's what its purpose is. That's why they come, to embody a person so that they can kill them and steal from them and destroy them. He is never there to do anything. That's why, I'm trying not to get ahead. That's why a lot of times people get involved in other things, in other cult things, in witchcraft and sorcery and psychic and you name it. And so what does the word cast out demons mean? It's the Greek word ekbalo. Ekbalo. It means to cast out. It means to drive out. I had this shirt made, but I couldn't wear it today. My shirt said, I ekbalo demons for free. Anyway, they work out, I'm going to get it back. I'll wear it. They messed my shirt up, they go me so much. It means to cast out, to drive out. It means to send out with notion of violence. With a notion of violence. You got to be violent. The Bible says violent taketh it by force. You're going to have to be violent with the devil. Let me tell you what, when the devil comes in and starts putting herself, you don't go, oh devil, go on somewhere. Shoot fly, don't bother me. The Bible, ekbalo means to cast out, drive out, send out with a notion of violence. To drive out, to cast out of the world. To be deprived of the power and influence he exercises in the world. Come on. To expel a person from, to banish from a family, to compel one to depart, to bid one to depart, to command or cause one to depart, to bid one to depart, which is a lot of definitions, to command or cause one to depart in haste. In haste. You tell them to hurry and get out of here. Hurry and get out of here. You don't waste no time and just let them sit there for a little while. No, he said do it with what? Haste. Be quick about it. Somebody say ekbalo. I want to go around and say I ekbalo. They go say, what the she talking about? I ekbalo demons for free. To extract. One thing inserted another into another, to bring out of, to draw out, or to bring down, or to bring forth, to leave it out. Somebody say cast out.
Cast out.
Okay. So, the reason the Son of God was made manifest is to destroy all the works of Satan and his darkness. Listen, devils are beings that work against the plan and purpose of God. You need to know that they work against the plan and the purpose that God has for you. And like I said, I talk to so many people that battles with what my purpose is, and I don't know what God wants me to do. I can't seem to see what God wants for me. I can't seem to see what his plan is. And so what I do is I take them all the way back. I take them to the root of why is it that you are stuck? Let's talk about why you are stuck. Let's talk about what you think is blocking you from getting to what God's plan and purpose is for your life. And 98.9% of the time, it has everything to do with root issues.
Right.
It has everything to do with root issues. Okay? So, we do not have to fear devils. You know, I heard you when you said the man ran out of church. You know, he took off from church. He just ran off. And most of the time, people who are dealing with demonic forces inside of their life, a lot of times they will run away from you, especially if God is in the presence of them. You know, especially, let me tell you what, the devils know you. They'll tell you in a minute, I know who you are. But if you don't know who they are, they will come and they will attack you literally with force. And so my purpose here today is to get you to understand that they do exist. I don't want you to think that they don't exist. And I tell people all the time, they say, well, this man told me demons ain't real. I said, well, is angels real? Do you believe in angels? He said, yeah. I said, well, demons exist. I said, because Satan himself was an angel once upon a time himself. And so if you believe that angels exist, how is it that you don't believe that demons exist? And most of the time in the church, we're fearful of that. We'll accept everything else, but we won't talk about demons. We won't talk about devils. Because when we get to talking about devils, you know, it kind of stirs the devils that's in you. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Yeah. So you don't have to fear the devils nor their works because you have the authority and the power to stop them. You got to recognize that you have authority. You have power and authority. You can tell that devil to get up out of here, and I mean do it with haste. I want you to get up out of here now. Not tomorrow. Not at 10:10. I need you to get out like at 10:2 right now. Get out of here in Jesus' name. You have that power. God has given us so much power and authority, and we don't use it. We don't use it enough. And this is the reason why we feel so defeated and we feel like we just can't get past. And this is why we go through the same cycle over and over again, and which leads to madness. And this is the reason why we get stuck and we get habits. And we just can't seem to shake things off of us. You understand what I'm saying? So we can destroy them and what the devils have done in our lives and in the lives of other people. One of the commands of the Lord to us is to cast out devils in Matthew 10:8. You know what? It is a command by God. Now that changes things. Jesus is not telling us you can't do it. He said, I am commanding that you do that. So this is a commandment. There's more commandments than the 10 commandments. There's more commandments than the 10 commandments. So this is a commandment by God that says that we need to go out there and we need to cast devils out. This was one of his, in Matthew 10:8. One of his commands was for us to cast out. He says, I want you to go out there and cast out devils. I want you to tread upon serpents. Now see, that changes things. Wait a minute, you mean God commanded me to do this? Yes, he is. So now somebody, I can keep all the commandments. I said, ain't nobody can keep all the commandments. Because all the commandments is not just the 10 commandments. There are other things that God had in his word that he commanded us to do. So this is one of the commandments. Now see, that changes things. Now you mean I'm supposed to be out there doing this, the commandment of God? We can keep the commandment about honor thy father and thy mother, but you can't keep the commandment about casting out devils.
That's right.
That's a commandment by God. And listen, I want to share this with you. Don't ever run from the devils. Cast the devils out. Yeah. In other words, expel them. You know, kids, when they go to school, when they do something bad and they're horrible, what do? They what? Expel them. What do? They kick them out. Or they what? They put them out. Or they what? They drive them out. Or what? Sometimes they have to what? Throw them out. And so sometimes the devil can come in and wreak havoc in your life so bad and cause so many problems that you have to just throw him out. You have to cast them out of you, okay? This is, the reason why I think a lot of people don't want to do deliverance is because it requires them to have to do something. And God puts the responsibility on us. And so a lot of times we don't want to take the responsibility of doing what God has commanded us to do a lot of times, okay? Matthew 1:21, what it say? Matthew 1:21-28. I'm sorry, Mark 1:21-28. What is it saying? It says Jesus and his followers went to Capernaum. Is that right? Yeah. Or Capernaum, whichever y'all prefer. All right? It says he went to Capernaum. On the Sabbath day, Jesus went into the what? Synagogue. That means he was in the church. Somebody say he was in the church. He was in the temple of God. He was in the house of God and taught the people. He said he taught the people. And they were amazed at his teaching. He did not teach like teachers, like they teachers of the law. He didn't teach like the other teachers of the law. He taught like someone with authority. Amen. Oh my God. So when you begin to start bringing deliverance to people, you got to talk like you got some authority in you. Yeah. Because that's the kind of language the devil understands. Yeah. He don't understand this little crying and all this emotional stuff that people go through and all that little whimpering. He don't respond to that. He responds to people who have authority. And he says he taught like someone with authority. He was doing something everybody else wasn't doing that. He was the only one doing that. And it says, while Jesus was in the synagogue, a man was there who had an evil spirit inside of him. The man shouted, Jesus of Nazareth. Now look at him. Now sometimes people will be in church and they be talking about, oh, praise the Lord. You ever see somebody talking about, oh, praise the Lord louder than anybody up in there. This church is really of God. Just shouting, Jesus of Nazareth. Then they're speaking in tongues and running and turning and flips and everything. He says, Jesus of Nazareth, what do you want with us? Now isn't that something? He knew that Jesus saw him. Another thing when you get to bring it to this, you got to have a strong spirit of discernment. Yeah. You need to pray that God give you that gift. Yeah, you need to pray, God, I need the gift of discernment. Because I need to have some devils cast out. And I think that's one of the things that we don't ask God for. And that's the reason why we can't see a lot of things. A lot of times you can see things ahead of time of what's going on in people's lives before they even come and approach you. That's if you have discernment. You have to have discerning of spirits inside of you. And discerning of spirits is not discerning just the demonic forces or the demons. It's discerning angels too, because I see angels as well. Okay? So it says, did you come to destroy us? Isn't there something? They already knew Jesus came to destroy him. They said, look at what they said. They said, Jesus of Nazareth, what do you want with us? Like, you here again? Bothering us? What do you want from us? He says this, did you come to destroy us? What did he say? I know who you are. And I said this before. If the devil can't identify you as a Christian, then you got some problems. If he can't identify that you belong to God, you got some problems. Maybe you need to be delivered. If he can't tell that you are of God when you walk into a place, when I go places, they run. People just run from me. They be dodging me and everything. I be trying to come up to people and speak to them, and they just dodge. I said, what's wrong with that? You bad, right? As I'm spelling bad, I look bad, and I have they have me in the bathroom trying to check see if I'm okay. They just run off. I'm like, well, I haven't even done the check to say hello. And they say, the demon said, I know who you are. They told Jesus, I know who you are, because he was a man that had authority. That's it. Try not to preach. God told him when Jesus, his voice full of warning, said, be quiet. Shut up somewhere. Shut up. It's simple. Be quiet. Be quiet and come out of him. That's all you got to do when you come to bring deliverance to people. When the demons come in, you just tell them, shut up, be quiet, come out. I'm constantly saying that. Be quiet, shut up, come out. Be quiet, shut up, come out. Shut up, come out. That's all it is. It's It's not hard. The evil spirit made the man shake. Ain't that something? You know, people that have epilepsy, most of the time they have demons inside of them. Y'all don't like that, but anyway, go tell them I said it. Then the spirit made the man, he began to shake. Then the spirit made a loud noise, and came out of him. And the people were amazed. And they asked them, what is happening here? This man is teaching something new. He teaches with authority. He even commands evil spirits, and they obey him. So the news went out quickly, and I tell everybody all the time, if you want to be famous, start casting out devils, because people start talking about you. The best defined is under the influence of an unclean spirit. These are the basics of deliverance that I'm going to give you. This was one miracle of Jesus which had never previously been recorded in the Old Testament. But here's the thing, the best defined that I can give you for deliverance is you're going to come against demons, you're going to come against evil spirits, and you're going to come up against unclean spirits. There's 3 different kinds: demons, unclean spirits, and evil spirits. What are the types of spirits? 2 types of spirits are the infirmity, the spirit of infirmity, which is sickness and disease. And then the other one is the spirit of fear. These are types of spirits. Okay? And so the spirit knew Jesus instantly. You know, notice that he is not the man, but he is not in the man, but he's a spirit. Listen to me, he is a spirit. These are spirits that you're dealing with. The people know that I always tell people I don't never talk to the person. I always talk to the spirit of the thing. Because that's what you have to attack when it comes to deliverance. You cannot talk just literally to people. And even when I'm counseling, sometimes I counsel and I say, oh no, we don't need to do no counseling here. I can discern that this person needs more than just counseling. This person needs, first of all, need inner healing. Second of all, they need deliverance. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not ruling out of counseling because I've got education in counseling. But then I also know that you cannot counsel a demon out. Right? You cannot counsel a demon out. And I'm going to say it again, you can't love a demon out. The Bible says you got to cast it out. That's what you got to do. So in deliverance, you got to be able to have the authority. You got to know who God is. You can't be insecure. Like you said, you can't be insecure. You know, a lot of people mistake my boldness as being facetious and being proud. I be binding them devils in Jesus' name. I be saying, I bind you, spirit of insecurity. I can't help it because you don't know who you are. I can't help it because you don't know that you're free. And so sometimes people will begin to speak word curses over you because they got a struggle in their life. And sometimes they got demons in their life and they're trying to impart it into you by saying certain things like that. And so you got to be able to discern that thing, and you got to be able to put it to a halt. You got to be able to be in a position where you have so much authority that you can see him and say, I know who you are. And I can call you by your name. You know demons got names? Okay. They have names. They got names. They got names. Let's go on to the next one. Hurry, get out of here. I ain't fooling with these demons too long. Here. You got to get out. Demons adapt themselves. I'm not calling y'all the devil. Don't miss. That's what I'm talking about. Don't go there. The spirit of offense. Shut it up. Shut up. Demon. Demons adapt themselves to their environment even if they are culturally differences. Did you say? I said demons adapt themselves to their environment even if there are cultural differences. It doesn't matter what nation or country or city or town it is in, it will adapt itself. Okay? So this is another part of the ministry. Let me hit that again. When I say demons adapt themselves to their environment, even if there are cultural differences, he will adapt himself to the environment that it is in. So if you're in an environment of nothing but fussing and fighting and cussing and all of that, that demon will adapt itself to that environment. And then if you're open, he'll expose himself and he'll come right on in with you. You know, I grew up in a family where my mother and my father was fighting when I say every day, when I tell you they had guns and they was trying to shoot each other every day, and I was in the house with them trying to keep them from killing each other every day. When I tell you that over the weekend that we could never go out and party and have fun because every time we would go out, it would be cut short because we would get a call and say, hurry up and come home. Your mama and your daddy are fighting and they got the police down there and they about to kill each other. So that's where my fear stemmed from. My fear stemmed from the fact that, oh my God, they're going to kill each other one day. You know, and I grew up thinking that I got fear, and that fear came from them. I was afraid that I was going to wake up and there was somebody was going to be dead. One of them going to be dead. I was a little girl. I was a teenager. That's all I ever knew was my mother and father was fighting. That's all I ever knew. I didn't know anything different than that. And so as a result of that, I grew up and then I discovered, well, why in the world do they fight like that? And I found out it wasn't my dad, it was my mama. And so I found out, why does she fight all the time? Then I found out when I met her relative that everybody in the family fight. I'm like, these some crazy people. You know what I mean? And so, so what I'm saying is they adapt themselves to the environment. So because they was at every family gathering, there was always a fight that went on. The demons would come in and adapt themselves, and everybody would just start fighting. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how it comes in, and that's how they come in. And they, like I said, they love to embody people. They have nowhere to go. Where are they gonna go? They have to have somewhere to stay. They have to have somewhere to lie in. They're not just out there in the wild, which I call the wild blue yonder. No, they have to have a body to be in so that they can operate. And the only way they can operate is through us. We are bodies. And they can only operate through animals. I know they operate through animals because one time I went to a woman's house and I was about 8 months pregnant and I just knocked on her door. And this demon dog, he was a demon, a little chihuahua, ran and bit me on my leg bad. I just knocked on the door. When she opened her door, this dog ran out and just bit me. And I had to go and get a tetanus shot, pastor. I was like, man, my God, I'm already in pain, you know what I mean? And then I started having a reaction from the medicine and stuff, and he just ran out and just bit me. I'm like, wait a minute, there's got to be something here. So I learned eventually that demons have to have a body to reside in. Are you going to let him reside in yours? No. Because anytime you open that door for him, he will seize the moment. Yeah. He's not afraid. And so therefore we don't need to be afraid. Amen? Amen? All right then. So these are the types of evil spirits. It's called the spirit of fear. It's called the spirit of infirmity, which is dealing with sickness and disease. Have you ever seen somebody who's sick and then their whole family got the same issue? Have you seen somebody who's been sick for years and it seemed like they done went to every kind of doctor and exhausted all the doctors' means, and every time they went, the doctor said, I couldn't find nothing, nothing is there, I can't see nothing, and that's a spirit of infirmity. Then you have the evil spirit of lust. We're going to talk about lust covers the area of pornography, lust covers the area of committing adultery, lust covers the area of sexual perversion, lust covers a whole lot of things. Lust covers even when you greedy, they ain't got no control over your appetites. And so these are some three main spirits here, evil spirits that will come in and try to dominate the people of God and just people in general. We won't even talk about how the spirit. I believe in America there has been a strong man called fear that has been released over America. And since we had the terroristic attacks and all these other attacks and everybody's been mass shooting and all that, the devil has unleashed a big strong man's spirit of fear over the nation of America and all over the world. And so people can't even get up and go to work because they're so afraid. People are afraid to go to the store because they're afraid. And this is the demonic spirit that we've been praying about that has come in and adapted itself in America. So we need to start binding up that it's called a principality. I learned a long time ago, you got to deal with the head in order to get rid of the tentacles. The Bible says you got to bind what? The strong man first. Once you bind the strong man, you got rid of the rest of the stuff. And so why do you think the devil comes in and attacks leaders all the time? Why do you think he comes in and attacks the head all the time? Because he knows that if he gets the head, why do you think he comes in and attacks the husband all the time? Because the head, anything that's the head or the boss, he going to come there first. Because he knows that if he can take the head down, he can take the rest of everybody else down. Okay? That's what he thinks. But those who have authority in God know that won't happen, right? All right. In the name of Jesus. So let's go ahead on to the next slide. Luke 4. Excuse me. Luke 4. This is another part of the ministry of Jesus. The Bible says he laid his hands on many and they were healed. And it didn't say a few demons. It said many demons came out of them crying out. See, these are the scriptures that we read them, but we just kind of, okay, yeah, he cast out devils. Ooh, that was for the disciples' time. He only did that with the 12 apostles. And he only did that with the 70 people, the 70 apostles that he had. No. The Bible says he laid his hands on many and they were healed and many demons came out of them crying out. The ministry of healing and deliverance is interwoven, y'all. You know, they came because, first of all, they came because they were sick. But in many cases, they have cured, demanded the expelling and casting out of many demons. Right? So if you notice, Jesus what? Laid his hands on what? All of them. So now that erases the question as to whether certain people can be delivered. The Bible says he laid hands on all of them.
All of them.
And let you know we might have something up in us that we need to pay attention to. We need to let the Lord find out. And you need to zero into what that is. Notice that said Jesus laid his hands on all, and a Pentecostal tradition says that you are not to lay hands on anyone with an evil spirit, but just Jesus is supposed to do that. That is not the Bible. The Bible says he who believes can lay hands on the sick. He didn't just say that Jesus can lay hands on the sick. He said everyone who believes can lay their hands on the sick and see them come. And everybody that believes can cast out devils. And everybody that believes can raise the dead. That was not just for Jesus.
That's right. That's right.
That was not just for Jesus. Okay? That was not just for Jesus. So a lot of times, me and my husband be going through stores and stuff, and we see these young boys, you know, these people. We saw this one boy that was, he was so wrapped up. And I didn't know what the disease was at that time, and I found out it was cerebral palsy. And I looked at that thing and I said, ain't that a demon? I said, now ain't that a demon? Got this child's body all twisted up and stuff. And sometimes we accept these diseases because the world has told us that's what's supposed to happen. Yeah. But we are Christians. We don't accept that stuff for what the word. That's what the world said. The world has defined all these sickness and diseases that we have been redeemed from. But we took on everything that the world said, and now we struggle in our faith to believe that God can do these things for us without the world's help. Now you listen to what I'm saying? Amen. So now, I'm telling you, this mental illness, boy, they're making some money. You know, every time something come out, everybody, the world, the people in those fields start jumping on it. Yeah. And start trying to make money from it. Yes, and so many people are making money from mental illness. When I tell you, I got at Barlow, I can come and cast them out for free. Yeah. Save your money, honey. Yeah. Let's do some deliverance here. Let's get this thing out of you once and for all. So you won't have to live on bipolar medicine. So you won't have to live on schizophrenic medicine. Come on, somebody, the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's right.
Amen.
The problem is, I look at you just got a demon problem. And so and people don't like for you to, you know, I have lost so many friends because I say stuff like this. They don't even want to talk to me no more. I'm like, stay bound then. Because I'm not going to go and just sit there and see a demon harassing people. How can you not have? I don't think that's the heart of God.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the heart of God. God is a loving God. He's a God of liberty. He's a God of freedom. He says in the Bible, we are no longer of the bondwoman. We are of the what? Free woman. Okay? So it is not God's will for us to be bound up in sin. Do you not know all these things come from sin?